They say laughter is priceless, but not for these comedians. These are the legends who turned jokes into empires, built fortunes off punchlines, and proved that being funny can be one of the most lucrative careers on the planet. From sitcom kings to stand-up giants, this list might just surprise you. Some of them don't even need to step on stage anymore. Their money works while they sleep. First is Jerry Seinfeld, a man who literally made millions by asking, "What's the deal with airline food?" Born in Brooklyn, New York in 1954, Jerry started out like most comedians. Small clubs, tiny crowds, and a dream. His big break came in 1981 when he appeared on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and from that moment, his career took off. But it wasn't until 1989 that everything changed. That's when he co-created Seinfeld, a show famously dubbed a show about nothing, but it turned out to be about everything. From soup Nazis to shrinkage, it became a cultural phenomenon. Seinfeld ran for 9 seasons and is still one of the most profitable sitcoms of all time. Jerry didn't just star in it, he co-owned it. So every time it reruns, his bank account gets a little fatter. After Seinfeld ended, Jerry didn't chase the spotlight. Instead, he played it smart. He returned to stand-up, produced Netflix specials, and created Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, a laid-back web series that quietly brought in millions. He's a businessman too, owning a share of the Seinfeld syndication rights, producing content, and investing in real estate. His net worth? A jaw-dropping $950 million. Next up is Tyler Perry, the man who built an empire in a dress and turned pain into power. Born in New Orleans in 1969, Perry had anything but a smooth start. He grew up in poverty, faced abuse, and dropped out of high school. But he found healing in writing, using letters to himself as emotional therapy. Those letters eventually evolved into stage plays, and by the late 90s, he was funding his own productions, even when nobody showed up. Then came Medea, a loud, gun-toting grandmother with a sharp tongue and an even sharper sense of justice. She was bold, hilarious, and completely unforgettable. With Medea, Perry struck gold. He created an entire universe of stage plays and films that catered to Black audiences often ignored by Hollywood. And the best part? He owned everything. From scripts to studios, Perry kept full creative and financial control. His work ethic is legendary. He wrote, directed, produced, and starred in project after project, churning out content faster than most studios could keep up with. In 2006, Tyler Perry's House of Pain launched him into television success, and by 2019, he made history by opening Tyler Perry Studios, a massive 330-acre production complex in Atlanta. It's the first major film studio in the U.S. owned outright by a Black man. Today, his estimated net worth sits at $900 million and rising. He's partnered with BET+, struck deals with Oprah's own network, and built one of the most self-sufficient brands in entertainment. Now let's talk about Matt Stone, the quiet half of the wild genius duo behind South Park and one of the richest animators on the planet. Born in Houston, Texas in 1971 and raised in Colorado, Matt didn't exactly grow up dreaming of fame. He studied math and film at the University of Colorado Boulder, where he met his creative soulmate, Trey Parker. What started as film school antics turned into a cultural earthquake. In 1992, they made a crudely animated short called The Spirit of Christmas, which eventually evolved into South Park. Premiering in 1997, the show was vulgar, controversial, and absolutely revolutionary. While critics were outraged, fans were obsessed. It became a massive hit. But Matt Stone wasn't just riding the wave. He was steering it. He and Trey co-created, wrote, directed, and voiced multiple characters, keeping total creative control over their baby. And here's where the money kicks in. Instead of taking a huge paycheck up front, they negotiated back-end deals that gave them a massive cut of merchandise, streaming, and syndication rights. In 2021, they signed an eye-watering $900 million deal with Viacom-CBS to extend South Park and create new content, including films for Paramount+. That deal alone helped push Matt Stone's net worth to an estimated $700 million. But he didn't stop with cartoons. Alongside Parker, Matt co-created the Broadway smash hit The Book of Mormon, a musical that became a cultural and financial phenomenon, raking in hundreds of millions and winning 9 Tony Awards. He's also a shrewd investor and producer. Ellen DeGeneres built her empire with charm, wit, and a groundbreaking legacy. But behind the sunny dance moves and daytime laughs lies a career filled with bold moves, reinvention, and serious money. Born in Metairie, Louisiana, in 1958, Ellen started off doing stand-up in small clubs. By the early 80s, she was hustling her way onto late-night shows with her clean, quirky humor. In 1994, she made TV history with Ellen, the sitcom that mirrored her real life. But it was 1997 that really changed everything, when she came out as gay both on-screen and in real life. It was bold, risky, and at the time nearly career-ending. Sponsors pulled out. Ratings dropped. She was blacklisted by much of Hollywood. But Ellen didn't stay down for long. She came back stronger, first with stand-up, then voice acting as the lovable Dory in Pixar's Finding Nemo, and finally with The Ellen DeGeneres Show, which launched in 2003. That show became a daytime powerhouse for nearly 2 decades. Celebrities, giveaways, tear-jerking surprises, Ellen mastered the formula. And more importantly, she owned a piece of it. The Ellen brand exploded. She launched her own record label, 1111, a lifestyle brand, Ellen DeGeneres, a production company, a very good production, and even partnered with major retail giants like Walmart. She also made millions through voice acting, endorsement deals, and flipping luxury real estate. Her estimated net worth today? Around $500 million. Jay Leno is living proof that you can play the nice guy and still laugh your way to the bank. Born in New Rochelle, New York, in 1950 and raised in Andover, Massachusetts, Leno didn't come for money, but he came with hustle. He worked odd jobs, performed in comedy clubs at night, and slowly built a reputation as the blue-collar guy with a jawline as strong as his work ethic. By the 1980s, he was a regular on The Tonight Show, eventually becoming Johnny Carson's permanent guest host. And in 1992, he beat out David Letterman for the top job, stepping into Carson's legendary shoes. It was a controversial move at the time, but Jay kept the ratings strong and the jokes safe, making Middle America laugh night after night for over 2 decades. But Jay Leno didn't just cash NBC paychecks, he stacked them. Here's the kicker. While hosting The Tonight Show, Leno never spent a dime of his hosting salary. Instead, he lived off his stand-up income, doing gigs on weekends, sometimes earning $100,000 a night. That discipline, mixed with a relentless grind, turned him into one of the richest comedians alive. Today, Jay Leno's net worth sits at around $450 million. He owns over 180 luxury and vintage cars, 160 motorcycles, and runs Jay Leno's Garage, a successful TV and YouTube series that's become a brand of its own. He's also invested in real estate, endorsements, and business ventures, all while avoiding the Hollywood party scene. Kevin Hart isn't just a comedian. He's a walking empire with a laugh that echoes through every corner of entertainment. Born and raised in Philadelphia in 1979, Kevin came from humble beginnings. His father battled addiction, and his childhood was filled with struggle. But Kevin used humor as a survival tool. After graduating high school, he tried his luck at comedy clubs and bombed repeatedly, but he didn't quit. By the early 2000s, Hart had started to carve out his own lane. Small movie roles in Scary Movie 3 and Soul Plane gave him visibility, but it was stand-up that made him a star. Specials like I'm a Grown Little Man, Seriously Funny, and Laugh at My Pain catapulted him into global fame. He didn't just tell jokes. He turned his life into content, packaging his pain, insecurities, and chaos into comedy gold. But Kevin wasn't just funny. He was focused. He formed Heartbeat Productions, controlling his own content and building partnerships with Netflix, Peacock, and YouTube. From movies to podcasts to fitness apps, he turned himself into a brand. And it paid off. Hart has starred in blockbusters like Jumanji, Ride Along, and Central Intelligence, grossing billions at the box office. He even launched LOL Network, a digital comedy platform, and snagged endorsement deals with Nike, H&M, and Chase. Today, Kevin Hart's net worth is estimated at $450 million and growing. He owns several homes, exotic cars, and has his hands in everything from tequila, Gran Cormino, to plant-based fast food, Hard House. Adam Sandler went from being the goofy class clown to one of the wealthiest power players in Hollywood. Born in Brooklyn in 1966 and raised in New Hampshire, Sandler was that loud, awkward kid with a heart of gold, and he never outgrew it. He started performing stand-up at 17 and eventually caught the eye of comedian Dennis Miller, who recommended him to Saturday Night Live. That break changed everything. By 1990, Sandler had joined the SNL cast, unleashing unforgettable characters and absurd songs like the Hanukkah song. But while critics were often divided, the audience couldn't get enough. He was fired from SNL in 1995, but that only pushed him into the next chapter, box office domination. From Billy Madison to Happy Gilmore, The Waterboy, and Big Daddy, Sandler became a household name with a style that critics hated, but fans loved. His movies weren't just successful, they were gold mines. He knew his audience and delivered every time. In 1999, Adam launched Happy Madison Productions, giving him full creative control and a platform to produce films for himself and his friends. That company has since raked in hundreds of millions, despite often being critically panned. He struck a game-changing deal with Netflix in 2014, reportedly worth $250 million, making him a staple of streaming, whether in comedy, murder mystery, or surprisingly serious roles, uncut gems. Today, Adam Sandler's estimated net worth is around $440 million. He owns multiple properties, including mansions in LA and New Hampshire, and continues to tour with his comedy shows, selling out arenas across the U.S. Larry David didn't just make people laugh. He redefined how people laugh. Born in Brooklyn in 1947, Larry grew up with that dry, neurotic edge that would later become his comedic signature. He started as a stand-up comic in the 70s, performing in grimy New York clubs while juggling odd jobs like driving limos and working as a store clerk. His style wasn't crowd-pleasing. It was offbeat, observational, and uncomfortable. But that discomfort? It was genius waiting to happen. Larry's big break came when he was hired as a writer for Saturday Night Live in the mid-'80s. Ironically, almost none of his sketches made it to air. Frustrated, he quit. Larry didn't stop there. In 2000, he returned with Curb Your Enthusiasm, playing a fictionalized version of himself, a rich, socially tone-deaf man constantly torpedoing his own life. It became HBO Gold, blending cringe comedy with pure chaos. The show ran for 12 seasons and cemented Larry as a master of unscripted storytelling. Now let's talk money. Larry David's estimated net worth sits at around $450 million. Most of that comes from Seinfeld syndication rights. He reportedly made over $250 million in 1998 alone when the show was sold into syndication. Add the ongoing revenue from Curb, producing credits, and smart investments, and you've got one of the richest comedy minds on the planet.